Hi, I'm Martin Slade, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Beyond. I'm your host, Martin Slade Jr., and also the founder of the New World Generation, Unity One Worldwide. In our previous segments, we have been talking about extraterrestrials and dimensions and astral planes and a host of things we would refer to as anomalous. Well, we're going to talk about things that are a little bit more current and affect you in your worldly daily lives today. If you once in a while happen to Google search your website, the various websites that are available for you as a source of information, and New World Generation is also a information service organization. We like to keep you updated with things that are going on in your community, around the world, and here are some of the things I'd like to discuss. You'll also find a lot of these things on our website. Our website can be found at the New World Generation. I'll tell you what, I'll wait just 1 second and you can go get your pen. It's important that you write this down. Are you ready? The New World Generation .blogspot.com, or just simply go on Google search and put in my name, Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N, Slade, S-L-A-D-E, Jr., and you'll see a series of television shows and a host of information that is vital for you to know. Today we're going to talk about 7 topics which you may or may not be familiar with, but I'm quite certain you'll find rather interesting. Let's talk about a subject concerning the bees, not only here on Hawaii, but around the world. And it seems like the bees are disappearing. What is happening to our bees? Now you know that bees pollinate our plants and our agriculture, and they're, well, along with a host of other insects, they're responsible for our vegetation and our food. And if they become extinct, our whole biosphere and our environment collapses. So what is going on with the bees? A lot of people speculate that perhaps maybe it's GMOs or too much pesticides, or they don't have any conclusive information. I suggest you go to my website, New World Generation, and there'll be a link that will describe what's going on with our bees, at least a few hypotheses concerning this particular subject. Great alien abductions. Well, let me get it straight. It's not just great aliens that are abducting us. Now we know that millions and millions of people have spoken throughout this decade and previous decades about alien abduction. And what is it all about? We've talked about it extensively on this program, talking about the extensive hybridization program and things concerning people's fears and doubts and worries and concerns, trying to validate the reality which they think is what it should be, but sometimes often is not. Alien abduction is still a very current issue and people are still talking about it. I also suggest that you go to our website and look that up as well. The radiation, Fukushima meltdown, and the radiation is spewing into its harbors and into its water. What kind of effect is this having globally upon our planet? And what measures can be taken to stop this hemorrhaging coming from the nuclear power plants? And question, is nuclear radiation detrimental to our environment, our society, our health, etc.? Other questions that offer a profound reason for us to think about its impact on our world and our society, and that's also on our website. 4 blood moons. What does that mean? Well, throughout history, there have been 3 blood moons, and it's been predicted there will be a 4th one on September 2015. And each one of these particular moons, some rather dramatic things have taken place. We have one coming up in September 2015. Some people think perhaps maybe it's the second coming of Jesus, or there might be some sort of catastrophic occurrence in our planet, on our planet, or, and so everybody's anticipating and wondering what is going to happen when the 4th red moon appears. two suns in the sky. Now, this is something that can either be verified or disproved simply by going to doing a Google search. Some scientists say, oh, it's just a refracted impression of the sun upon the lenses of our cameras and our telescopes. Others say it's a 3,600 year cycle of this particular planet called Debris, or by other names, and it's the return of the Anunnaki. Anu meaning ant, Naki meaning friend, and this was supposed to be an ancient race who came and hibernized us and who changed our planet and its habitat and manipulated our DNA, and we are thus what we are today. And that they were considered in the ancient days to be gods, and they are not gods, they're extraterrestrials. But there's been a lot of speculation about that as well. The Anunnaki and the Planet X. There's so many things going on. Today, in our history, by the way, I just came out of the, watching the television today, gay marriage is accepted. Isn't that wonderful for those people who want to live together? Other things are happening in such a rapid pace, the earth is changing. There are other things that are going on, such as the Affordable Care Act. Now people have insurance, fair housing. There's so many things that are going on so fast at such a rapid pace that it's almost mind-boggling. The changing of the Confederate flag and taking it down, capturing criminals. You know, the world is moving at such a fast pace, it's breathtaking. But you know, we're living in a very accelerated and a very exciting time in our history. There is a unity and a clarification that we have to come together if we are to be a civilized society, if we're going to be our brother's keeper. Many things are happening. So it's really, really good. Also, if you go to Google search, and I use it extensively, I have something I have a link that talks about the multiple alien races from A to Z. Now, I don't know all of them, but there is a link that I have provided, and they will show you the many, many extraterrestrials that exist and have visited our planet in the past and who still exist today in our present day time. Let's see what else we have here. The Blu-rays. Oh, yes, 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 yes. You may or may not know about the Blu-ray children or the purple ray children. No, they're not purple or blue in color. We'll leave that to the Syrians or the Sirens. They're blue. They're from that particular planet. But human beings are being born, and they're mostly children. And they've been coming into the world since 1946. And they have been alleged to be a special reincarnated race of beings that are coming into our families. And they're here at this particular time and juncture in our society to change things. And the way that they're described is they're not conformist. They may appear, your children, as being somewhat radical. They express certain powers and features that are not normal, what we might describe to as paranormal. They might even show signs of genius periodically, having a command of mathematics and science and music and technology, and you would never know where it came from, but they seem as if it's an innate quality that they were born with. It's in their DNA. And they're here at this particular time because Earth is going through a transition. I describe it as ascension. As a matter of fact, my organization, the New World Generation, Uni One World One Wide, is precisely and has been established for that reason, unifying the world together. It is a light ascension program, and it subscribes to bringing the world together, making us aware that we are not just flesh and blood, but that we're also not just sentient beings, but we're also light beings, and that we exist interdimensionally, and that all that you see comes from one source. All that star dust that you see in space, well, those things formed our worlds and our societies and the very flesh and everything you see here. Those are all the atoms and elements that compose our physical world. And we have lost sight of that fact, and we've compartmentalized and we separated everything into it, that, them, those, we, us. And my whole idea is to get us to think collectively that we are all one, from one source, and that we are all moving towards one direction. Oh, there are some renegades, people who would rather do things that are evil and wicked. There are people who are prejudiced and bigoted. There are people who are murderers and killers. Yes, we know that's a part of our society. But there's a large, much larger element of people that are unifying and are almost like waking up from their sleep. They're becoming aware, self-awareness that, my God, this society will not exist if we continue to live this way. You know, NASA was just doing some research. They now have the capacity to use satellites to traverse our Earth and map it. And what they find is that, well, basically we only have about 10, maybe 12 more years of fresh water. What you say? 10 or 15 years maybe of fresh water left. So what do we do after that? Well, there's a host of things we could do. I guess we could do desalination. That would save us taking the ocean water, or we could melt the ice caps. But Earth is in a critical stage right now. And I don't want people to start thinking apocalyptic that the world is coming to an end. But I want people to be prepared for rapid changes in the air, in the atmosphere, and all around. I want you to have a self-awareness. I want your consciousness to be elevated. I want you to perfect your soul, and I want you to perfect the good that is in the world, and to examine yourself and the environment that you live in, and not think, as I said, as some do, apocalyptic. The world is not coming to an end. The world is changing, and sometimes change is good. And I've spoken on my other shows, and I've spoken about the extraterrestrials, and that eventually, inevitably, we will bump into them. Well, that's a nice way of putting it, but we will engage them because they know, just like the Mayans and the Aztecs and the Anastasies and the Dogons in Africa, that the so-called gods that were not gods were extraterrestrials who descended upon our planet and advanced civilization and society. And when they left us here, they promised that they would return. So what we have to do is prepare ourselves for that glorious day when all of humanity comes together, both cosmic, interdimensional, humane, sentient, non-sentient, all types of entities. We all come together collectively, because collectively, as consciousness, we are all one. We are all God. The division that you see in the world is from selfishness. Selfishness born out of fear, ignorance, and control of our environment, our minds, and our destinies. What we have to do as good stewards of the earth, good people like yourself, myself, and all the other entities that we can't see, angels, oh yeah, they're here, extraterrestrials, always have been here, we're here before we even got here, and a host of other angels and spirits, as I've said. We're all coming together to unify, to make this a better world. The earth is in the process, it's in the birth canal, it's in the process of ascension, light ascension. I want you to join us and go to my website once again. If you got a pen or a piece of paper, write this down, because it does affect you. Just first of all, just go to the Google search. You don't have to even look for my website, because once you get to my name, it'll explain everything. My first name is Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N. My last name is SLADE, S-L-A-D as in David, E, Jr. And when you get there, you'll see a host of shows, information, guidelines, talking about the New World Generation, Unity One Worldwide, and what kind of an impact that we could have on the world. Not only my organization, but there are a host of other organizations. I want you to join us. I want you to support us. I want you to make this place a better world. After all, we are the custodians of this planet. God bless you. Until I see you again. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Light is now descending upon our world from the great expanse of the cosmic universe. A new consciousness is emerging, Age, race, sex, or national origin has no place for dividing or separating human sentient life. The physical universe is expanding, moving through space and time. Many people are beginning to awaken to their divine origins. They see that everything is connected. They realize that in the past, our history and civilizations have been profoundly influenced by otherworldly beings, often referred to as gods or extraterrestrials. They realize at this time in our history that a new world generation is at hand. Worldviews, cultures, and society are fast changing. Hatred, greed, racism, ecological disasters, and other calamities are now coming to an end. Our brothers and sisters and families from the stars are soon to arrive. So without hesitation, let us prepare ourselves for light ascension. This should be our goal. So join us, the New World Generation. Unity One Worldwide. Well, hello and welcome back. I'm Martin SLADE Jr., the founder of the New World Generation, Unity One Worldwide. Well, we talk a lot about extraterrestrials, we talk a lot about other entities such as angels and spiritual guides. We've spoken so far about the astral plane and a host of phenomenal things, which are sometimes described as anomalies or metaphysical or paranormal. Well, I'm going to talk about things that are a bit more basic and fundamental, things that will lead you to a higher degree of consciousness and awareness. Because you see, consciousness is paramount for your evolution. It's paramount for your expansive understanding of what truly reality is, or for that matter, is not. I have a little outline here. It's called Paths to Ascension. And my program, the New World Generation, Unity One Worldwide, deals primarily with that particular aspect of light ascension. And there are other names that have been subscribed to it, such as cosmic consciousness, illumination, and a host of other vernacular attributed to what I'm about to say. Path to Ascension primarily deals with, like I said, some of the fundamental, not rules, but suggestions that will help you to be able to function much better on this physical plane and prepare you for the life and the world that is to come. Let's talk about something really fundamental. Let's talk about the things that we ingest in our body. Now, remember, the things that I'm telling you are just suggestions. I'm not pontificating, proselytizing, or telling you what you should or should not do. These are suggestions. My organization, the New World Generation, Unity One Worldwide, is also an information service. And what we do is we try to bring to you the most current information concerning things in our universe, in our country, and sometimes in our local community. The things I'm talking about today, like I said, are very fundamental. And we're going to start off with talking about what we ingest in our body in our diet. Now, you've heard many a times people say, oh, I can't eat this, or I don't eat that, or I won't eat that. You hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian, but I don't eat eggs, but I do eat chicken. Titles, that's all they are. But for a better, healthier body, and to help you to progress on a spiritual level, it is very important that you make your temple a place where the Spirit can dwell therein. Remember, it was stated that the Spirit of God dwells within, and I suspect they mean our bodies. Therefore, we must make our bodies appropriate temples so that we might be able to inhabit the Spirit, which in some cases is called the Christ, the Holy Ghost, or just cosmic energy. You choose which one is most appropriate for yourself. 75 million animals in America alone are slaughtered to put food on our table every day. Think about that. 75 million animals a day in just America alone are slaughtered just to put meat on our table. Horrible thought to think about it. However, I think what you should also consider the fact is that's only in America. If you were to add up China and Africa and all the other many places, well, then maybe close to 1 billion animals a day are slaughtered, killed, abused, so that we might have steak, beef, pork, ham, sausages, and that Big Mac. It's not so much what goes in our body that makes us feel so bad, but it's the conditions that the animals go through and what they suffer in order for us to eat their carcasses. I have a philosophy: if it's dead, I don't eat it. And why did I become a vegetarian? I don't know. It wasn't something that I just said one day I'll wake up and I'll stop eating meat. It was just something that I said, it's not necessary. There's so many other things that I can ingest and eat that are just as delicious. And vegetarian diet, no vegetarian diet, vegan diet, everything should be done in moderation, because everybody cannot, I will repeat, everybody cannot be a vegetarian. And that's only a very minute portion of this light ascension project we're talking about. The ability to modify the intake of animals, alcohol, drugs, and other things that are detrimental to our body and will not allow us to progress on the spiritual path. The next thing, which probably is just as important, if not probably more important than what we put in our bodies, and that is what we think. Thinking. The things that we think, or the things that we think, or the things we think that we know, or the things we just don't think about. Thinking is a very important process in our spiritual evolution, because as one thinks, one is. Keeping the mind pure of thoughts, not having that hatred or hating someone and thinking about clandestine and evil things to perpetrate on other people, not only on people, but on animals, our friends, our neighbors, our family, and Mother Earth. Thinking that the world will be a better place and not having an apocalyptic view of where the world is going. Thinking in terms of things that are beautiful and that are good and that are spacious. Thinking of things that are expansive. Thinking of things that are bright and brilliant and effervescent. Raising our consciousness to a level of purity. This process all starts with what we think. Not always how we feel, but what we think. Think in terms of things getting better for yourself and not always on the negative downside. So thinking is important. And cleaning our bodies. Cleanliness is often ascribed to close to God. Cleanliness meaning not only of our bodies, but that also goes and encompasses thinking clean thoughts. What you say and what you think are very, very, very important. Now, understanding this, I want you to try to understand the concept of light, because light plays a paramount role in where we are today and where we're going tomorrow. Everything that you see is a vibration, and it is a vibration of light. It's a vibration that has condensed into physical matter, but its premise, its genesis, is light. Everything around you is light, vibrating at different frequencies, some be known, unknown, seen, some unseen. But light is the essence of everything that we perceive and do not perceive. It is a vibration. And light and sound, believe it or not, creates physical matter. Light is what we are composed of. Light is what eventually we will ascend to. Light. Now, attempting to contact extraterrestrials and angels and spiritual guides, that's not far-fetched, that's very plausible and extremely possible. But what you have to do that, you must be able to be conscientiously aware, and you must be able to meditate or be able to supplicate in deep prayer, because the lines of communication have always been open to us to speak to extraterrestrials, to speak to angels, to speak to our spiritual guides. But often the phone is off the hook and we don't hook it up, and we don't hear the very subtle vibrations and voices that speak to us that attempt to give us guidance in our everyday lives. Pick up the line and answer it. Extraterrestrials, angels, spirit guides, and even some of your relatives and ancestors are trying to contact you. So, with love and with kindness and with perseverance, we can reach that level of spiritual consciousness. Recently, there has been a lot of extraterrestrial activity, starships, and sightings around the world. Millions of people have claimed to be abducted by alien visitors. Of course, all of them can't be dreaming. There must be some reality to the things that they're saying. You know, if you haven't had an extraterrestrial visitation yet, well, it just might be because you're not prepared for that right now. But somewhere in the future, maybe not too far distant future, we will all embrace our brothers and sisters from the stars. In the ancient days, as said, we believed in an extraterrestrial visitation to our planet. Our societies, our world, and multiple visitations have taken place that have been instrumental in promoting our societies and our civilizations, math, science, and some of the technologies that we're experiencing today. They have all come about because of extraterrestrial visitations. And there are many, many varieties of extraterrestrials. If you go to my website or my blog, thenewworldgeneration.blogspot.com, you will find extraterrestrials from A to Z listed. And you will see a host of types of beings, non-beings, sentient, non-sentient, and even biological entities that have been known to exist in our world and other worlds like ours. So don't be ignorant. Don't laugh when you hear people say little green men. Be aware, be knowledgeable, and prepare yourself for a visitation in the near future, where governments won't be able to cover up and people won't be laughing at you because you say you feel you've been abducted or you've seen extraterrestrial aircraft like so many of us have. You will be a part of that new world generation. You'll be a part of those people who are preparing themselves for light ascension, because in the final analysis, all of us will be united as one. Interplanetary systems and councils do exist, the Regency Council, the Intergalactic Brotherhood of Light. There's so many intergalactic and cosmic councils that are out there. They're all unifying. Everything in the universe is coming to become one. We are all one. Everything is one. So, bless you, and keep looking towards the skies. Look towards the heavens, and look inside yourself. You'll find the answers. You'll solve the mysteries of beyond the beyond. Well, we're back, and I hope you enjoyed this week's program. We'll be back with more interesting shows and more information that you'll find enlightening and hopefully entertaining. I'm your host, Martin Slade, New World Generation, Unity One Worldwide, Beyond the Beyond. Thank you, and have a good life.